Buongiorno. For my first trip to Europe, vadrei all'Italia da solo. I went all by myself for a week after just spending a few weeks brushing up on my Italian. I stayed in a student apartment where I might have lived my junior year if I had not taken a few detours like dropping out of college. For those of you who said you couldn't come along, this is what you missed. It was absolutely beautiful and right in the middle of the city, the old city, that is. There were tiny bookstores on every corner. There were little grocery stores and art stores and music stores and cafes, and it was just really wonderful. And oh yeah, that's a bidet. You know, hey, it's Europe. That's what they do there. And there was a downstairs door, and then my outside apartment door with its substantial lock, you see, and a huge antique-like key I had to turn 5 times to turn the 5 bolts that you see in the edge of the inside apartment door. So I was really safe and sound. This is a model of the old medieval Bologna, and the circle is like the wall, and then there were a limited number of entryways into the city. I was able to walk the entire old area. This is part of the original wall, and there were at least a couple of the original entryways into medieval Bologna that are still there. Just absolutely amazing to me that they're still around. Now, they have a lot of towers that I didn't take pictures of, but they're known for their porticos, their covered walkways, which come in handy when it hails like it did this day. The other thing that they're very well known for is the University of Bologna. It's the oldest university in the entire world. I was supposed to go there, so I went to visit. One of my first stops was the Arcicinezzaio. That was my first day, and there is the Teatro Anatomico, the Theater of Anatomy, where 1,000 years ago people studied anatomy in this room. They learned how to be able to doctor people. And all of these carvings are out of wood, and they're absolutely phenomenal. I also visited the Museo Civico Medievale, the medieval museum. The armor was small for me even, and I'm a small person. The books were, of course, under glass. I figured medieval city is the best place to go to a medieval museum. I also hit the Pinacoteca Nazionale, the National Art Museum. They had murals brought from churches that can't afford to restore or maintain the artwork. That's why you see pieces missing. Some of them haven't been fully restored. Some of them will not be fully restored. I also spent some time in Margherita Gardens on the edge of town. It was kind of nice after walking all over the city. There were dozens of big painted turtles in this pond, and it was just so relaxing. Just chill out and watch them. You could like almost forget that you were even in a city. I can imagine if I worked and lived there, I would come here to just relax, take it easy. Well, except for the sirens. The only time I took a bus anywhere was to go outside of town up onto the hills, and as you can see, it's right next to the old town. In fact, those gardens are probably the trees at the very bottom you can see there. The best part was visiting with people. This is a typical portico, little cafe on the left, the little balcony outside of an apartment. And this is the Piazza Neptuno, the Plaza of Neptune. That's the statue. It's adjacent to the Piazza Maggiore. And that's where I spent a lot of time. This is the least number of people I'd ever see there. But what they do is they'll come and they'll watch movies at night. And then at 11 o'clock, when the movie's over, they go to dinner. And there's lots of restaurants open for eating at 11 o'clock at night, in the summertime anyway. So it was really fun just talking with people. And this is the train station. The clock is broken because it was bombed many years ago, and the clock stopped, and they left it that way in memory of the people that were killed. I bought a train ticket in this train station from a man that spoke no English at all to go to Tuscany for a day. But that's another story. Ciao. Arrivederci.